Very good evening. This is Saturday's edition of Primetime News. We're coming to you live and direct this evening from our Newsfirst studios in Colombo. I'm Zola Outschool. Let's start off with a look at our headlines for today.
President Maithripala Sirisena arrives in the island after concluding a 3-day state visit to Bangladesh. Will the SLFP leave the consensual government? All electronic media institutions join hands to eradicate dengue. Speaker Karujaya Surya expresses his views on the draft media bill. Yet another scam of the ICTA exposed.
Starting off the news with President's diary. Now, President Maithripala Sirisena, who was on an official visit to Bangladesh, arrived in the island today. Early in the day, the President participated in a special investment summit seeking investment opportunities in Sri Lanka in Dhaka, Bangladesh. The summit was attended by a number of businessmen and Sri Lankan and Bangladeshi investors.
The total annual trade turnover between Sri Lanka and Bangladesh is $142 million, and both countries have agreed to triple the turnover in the coming years. At present, Sri Lankan businessmen have invested in the sectors of gas, banking and textile in Bangladesh, and a discussion on further expanding the investment opportunities for those sectors was discussed. An invitation was extended to the Bangladeshi businessmen to invest in Sri Lanka. The foreign ministers of Bangladesh and Sri Lanka addressed the summit. A special cultural show organised in line with President Maithripala Sirisena's visit took place last evening at the President's house in Bangladesh. President Sirisena was also hosted to a dinner last night in Dhaka.
Newsfirst continues to report on an attempt to defraud public funds through the development of a national payment platform. More details pertaining to this attempt that violates even the law of the country are yet coming to light.
The payment platform is a system where online transactions can be carried out using the electronic payment methods such as credit cards. The system will connect state institutions, banks, other financial institutions and the general public into one network. With this system, payments and settlements can be carried out online easily. The central bank is the authority vested with regulating any such payment system. This responsibility is stated clearly in the Monetary Law Act No. 58 of 1949 as well as the Payments and Settlement Systems Act No. 28 of 2005. Newsfirst reported several times on efforts taken by the Information Communication Technology Agency or ICTA to create a national payment platform that is not regulated by the Central Bank of Sri Lanka. The ICTA has already shortlisted 3 companies to develop the NPP. When the Central Bank of Sri Lanka is in the process of implementing a system through Lanka Clear, regulated by the CBSL, ICTA's intervention is clear when studying the documents regarding the national payment platform. An email sent by the CBSL in reply to queries raised by Newsfirst says that the ICTA provided 2 proposals with regard to the creation of a national payment platform in May and June in 2016. After the central bank provided its observations regarding these proposals provided by the ICTA, Mohandan Kanage, who is the CEO of ICTA, has appointed a committee on his own and presented a report regarding the NPP. This is the letter the governor of the central bank wrote on the 8th of July to the finance minister at the time, Ravi Karunanayake, presenting facts about this committee report. The governor says that the ICTA has set up a 14-member committee without discussing with the central bank and provided this particular report in question. He adds that according to the report, the central bank has no regulatory role over the NPP and is not even a stakeholder in it. Dr. Kumaraswamy says that the members of the committee have signatures at the end of the report with no approval, verified or agreed clauses, and that there is no evidence indicating the basis on which the committee members have signed the report. The governor adds that the central bank takes regulatory measures to ensure that the payment systems of financial institutions are safe, secure and reliable, and accordingly the central bank regulates the integration of financial institutions to the national level payment platforms, considering its impact on information security of such financial institutions and customer protection aspects. Speaking about data storage, the governor says Sri Lanka does not have either a data protection or a privacy act, making it difficult to control the privacy and security issues of data stored in cloud services hosted outside the country. Dr. Indrajit Kumaraswamy clearly states that the proposed NPP of the ICTA should be under the supervisory and regulatory scope of the central bank. The prospectus of one of the companies shortlisted, TotalPay, says that they have been awarded the right to operate as a digital instruction provider or a DIP to the national payment platform by ICTA. According to the prospectus, TotalPay as a DIP can carry out user-executed transactions by transmitting instructions to the bank via the national payment platform. TotalPay Private Limited, which has been registered as a company on the 1st of March 2016, has 5 directors and shareholders. The majority shareholder is Ishwaran Subramaniam, Durga Chellaram, Steve Ephramus, Ishan Niroshan Levis Pereira and Radhakrishnan Senduran are the other directors of TotalPay.
In fact, this proposal came to light some time back when Mr. Ravi Karunanayake was the finance minister, and at that time several parties who were interested in this matter, including persons from financial sector, pointed out very clearly that it should not be handed over, this function should not be handed over to a private company because it involves a lot of secrecy and risk and also violations of existing regulations in the area of fund transfers and control, which should come only and specifically under the central bank. And with that being the case, we do not know why an attempt is made to hand over such an important function to a private organization, and this looks like this is another business proposal more than a service requirement.
How safe are your financial details? Why is ICTA attempting to risk storing your sensitive financial details on cloud servers, disregarding central bank warnings? Why is ICTA attempting to break the law and circumvent the central bank's regulations by promoting the national payment platform be outsourced to a private company? With no significant achievements to date, how many more ruinous scandals will Mohandan Kanage drag ICTA through before the government takes action against public money being squandered? Watch News First as we unravel yet another ICTA scandal.
Speaker Karu Jayasuriya has made his stance clear on the draft document for the Independent Council for News Media Standards Act.
There is controversy surrounding an attempt to suppress the media and imprisoning journalists. There is talk that regulations are to be imposed to restrict the media. I wish to inform you that such a thing will never happen. The people in government are those who have appeared on behalf of the media. They have appeared on behalf of the media and their rights. Whenever a journalist is harassed, a media institution was set ablaze and destroyed. They suffered from tear gas and got their vehicles destroyed. Therefore, there will never be media suppression in this country. The government has no desire to do so. I state this with responsibility.
මර්ධනයක් කරන්න මේ රටේ ඉලක්කයක් නැහැ බලාපොරොත්තු රජයනයක මං.
Well, it was a very eventful week at the Presidential Commission of Inquiry appointed to investigate the Treasury bond issue, ending with the explosive evidence from the man currently at the center of the investigation. Newsfirst Zulfiq Farzan brings revelations in the previous week, pointing to irregular trading of bonds resulting in a loss to the EPF.
The Presidential Commission summoned CBSL Senior Assistant Director Saman Kumara as a witness. At the time, Kumara was recording statements with the CID. The witness was warned by the Commission to speak the truth or face the consequences under the Penal Code. Saman Kumara was the dealer for the EPF in the secondary market transactions with Perpetual Treasuries Limited, while Pan Asia Banking Corporation had acted as an intermediary. The cross-examination revealed Kumara's assets. He said though he was not a decision maker at Country Kitchen Lanka Private Limited, he lied in the loan application to secure a loan from Pan Asia Banking Corporation to construct a building and rent the first 2 floors to Royal Ceramics Lanka PLC, which is owned by Nimal Pereira, the former chairman of PABC. He denied any personal relationship with Pereira. In relation to the bond auction on the 27th of February 2015, Kumara said he visited a government minister at the request of then-Governor Arjuna Mahendran to give reasons for the incident that had taken place. The commission directed Kumara to hand over his passport, passports of his family members, as well as present and previously used mobile phones to the investigators. When making a statement, Saman Kumara said there was a conspiracy to frame him. The commission advised Saman Kumara to reveal everything without hiding anything for the benefit of the commission and for the sake of the country. Saman Kumara will testify again on Monday. Starting off the week, the Attorney General's Department played a number of phone calls between PABC and the EPF in trading government securities. In all conversations, Saman Kumara, currently interdicted by the central bank, answers the calls and accepts all that is offered by Pan Asia Banking Corporation on behalf of Perpetual Treasuries. The witness, Richie Dias, the Deputy General Manager of Treasury at PABC, stated all transactions of this nature were initiated by PTL. He said that the marginal profit of PABC in the intermediary operation was agreed by Nimal Pereira, the then chairman of PABC, and Arjun Aloysius. He revealed that when it came to Nimal Pereira's securities, Pereira would give the rates and quantity to be traded with the EPF. He testified on some occasions PABC would buy securities from PTL via money brokers and then perform the intermediary role. The AG's department revealed that other parties had piggybacked on the intermediary role performed by PABC and identified Nimal Pereira as an additional intermediary. The commission said it wished to know the involvement of Nimal Pereira and instructed the AG's department to dig deeper and expose others who were party and benefited in the transactions.
Are a group of Sri Lanka Freedom Party members going to leave the consensual government? Now, this has sparked discussion in many forums questioning the future of the coalition.
A weekend newspaper reported that a group of Sri Lanka Freedom Party MPs and ministers are in discussions on leaving the coalition after the second anniversary of the establishment of the consensual government. The Maubima newspaper reports that 14 SLFP MPs are to move away from the coalition. The report has named Susil Premajayantha, Anurupriyadashana Yapa, WDJ Seniviratna, TB Ekanayaka, Nimal Lanza, Arundika Fernando, Lakshman Vasantha Pereira, Nishantha Muthuhettigama, Susantha Punchi Nilame, Dulip Vijayasekara, Sumedha Jayasena, Taranath Basnayaka, Indika Bandaranayaka, Priyanka Jayaratna and MLA M Hizbullah as among those prepared to leave. We have decided to leave the coalition government and serve in the opposition as SLFP members in order to further strengthen the party. This is not done against any single person. We have made clear to the President that working with the UMP will only deplete the party than strengthening it. We believe he understood that. However, he requested us to be with him until the 31st of December. When the agreement expires, we are considering these facts. Many have given their consent to act independent after the completion of 2 years. This is not a single decision but a collective one. We consented as a party. We are collectively supporting the government at present. Therefore, if we are leaving, we must do so collectively. We cannot leave individually. When we met with the President recently, 2 ministers highlighted that remaining with the government would give rise to issues among the people due to the actions of the United National Party. Therefore, we have agreed as a group that we must reach a collective decision. They did not say that they will be leaving the President and joining with the joint opposition. They wanted to remain independent. The President said before the end of the year that we will discuss the matter and address the shortcomings in the government. He asked us to be patient and we accepted that. The Central Committee of the party takes a decision. Therefore, we are waiting to discuss this and reach a collective decision. Some want us to create a complete United National Party government. That is a simple thing. If I was told that, as General Secretary, I will do that tomorrow. Let's be patient. We say that we are prepared to work in a consensual government. We are also committed to carry this government even without that. The boasting General Secretary of the UNP must understand that the 19th Amendment to the Constitution was passed not because of the UNP. At the time, there were only 44 UNP MPs in Parliament. President Maithripala Sirisena continues to wonder that it is because of those who were involved in the bond scam and those who want to cover it up that the consensual government had become inactive. People term the coalition as rogues. He is trying to find a solution to the issue. However, Kabir Hashim goes on to say that the United National Party will form its own government. The defection will not be limited to 18, it will be 41. Therefore, I request Kabir Hashim to talk sense.
Senior DIG in charge of the UA and Central Provinces, Lalita Singh, was arrested by the Criminal Investigations Department.
Police media spokesperson SP Ruwan Gunasekara said that the senior DIG was arrested for aiding a suspect connected to the Vidya Sivaloganathan rape and homicide to evade arrest. The police media spokesperson said the senior DIG Lalita Singh will be produced before the Kites magistrate.
The newly appointed Secretary of Defence Kapila Vaidyaratne called on the Mahanayakas in Kandy today.
Secretary of Defence Kapila Vaidyaratne first called on the Mahanayaka of the Ramanya sect, Most Venerable Napane Premasiri Thera. Thereafter, Secretary of Defence Kapila Vaidyaratne called on the Mahanayaka of the Maladu chapter of the CM sect, the Most Venerable Tibbatuave Sri Sumangala Thera. After paying homage to the temple of the sacred tooth relic, the Secretary of Defence called on the Mahanayaka of the Askiri chapter of the CM sect, the Most Venerable Varakaguda Sri Jnanaratana Thera.
Speaking to the Mahanayaka, you said that even if there is no war, the military is waging a separate war. I did not use the word war in that context. Now it is a service. The three armed forces and civil defence forces are rendering a great service in dengue eradication. Vimal Veeravansa claims that national security is at risk. I am not aware of that, therefore I cannot comment on that. I can assure you that national security is even more secure than it was before. I am committed to that with the President, Prime Minister and all the people. I believe that national security will never be undermined.
Minister of Housing and Construction Sajid Premadasa laid the foundation stone for the construction of a village in the Virahela area in Tesamaharama.
The village, which will be named Grama Sisala, is the 13th to be constructed under the Grama Shakti program, which comes from the Sammata 7 Model Village project. Title deeds and loans were presented to the beneficiaries at the event.
Your community was termed as invalid coins by the previous regime. You were cast aside back then. The people who were sidelined have been made stakeholders of development today. Up to now, you had no help from anyone, but on the political stage they talked about miracles. But we have created the opportunity for all to live with dignity in society.
Welcome back to the news. A dengue control program together with all media organizations in the country took place today across the island. This initiative was aimed at further strengthening the Presidential Task Force on the prevention of dengue.
The control program, a concept of President Maithripala Sirisena, took place from 10 a.m. to 12 noon today in many areas of the island where clean-up campaigns took place. This effort was carried out by the Presidential Task Force on the Prevention of Dengue, the Ministry of Finance and Mass Media, government institutions and all media organizations in the country. Media institutions extended their contributions at various locations, and Sirasa TV launched its campaign centering Batharamulla, which falls under the jurisdiction of the Kadwala Pradeshya Sabha. To strengthen this program, Government of Sri Lanka's largest public service initiative took measures to launch a dengue control program across several districts. Many areas in Hitteti and Matara were cleaned today with the support of PHIs and health sector personnel. The Government team joined hands with the Government Savi organisation Burala Valigama to carry out the clean-up campaign. Another similar campaign took place in Dambulla, where many areas, including the Dambulla Dedicated Economic Centre, the town and many villages were cleaned. A dengue control program took place in the Puttalam district as well. A clean-up campaign took place at the Chilao Fish Market and the Vella Fisheries Village in Chilao. A similar clean-up campaign took place centering the Nelubawa Gamuru Mahavidyalaya in Anuradhapura. Organized by the Gammada Savi organization in Divulwela, the program was supported by the parents of the students and the villagers. A clean-up program took place centering the Hambegamu Muthumala Raja Mahavihara with the assistance of the Hambegamu Gammada Savi organization. A dengue control program took place at the Pallekumburu Sri Bodhinarama temple and the Pallekumburu village that come under the jurisdiction of the Medakanda Grama Seva area in Balangoda. Over in the north, the dengue control program took place in the Jaffna Chavakacheri, Misale and the Vigneswara Mahavidyalaya. The assistance of the local community was obtained to clean up several areas in Batkalo, Navatkuda, Nochemune and the Hindu Public Cemetery and surrounding areas. In line with the National Dengue Control Program, another event took place at the China Fort Peruwala, Kalutara.
Electronic media have come together as one for the common good of the nation with one aim, leaving aside commercial aspirations. Dengue eradication cannot be done by the Ministry of Health alone. Waste management plays a bigger role in this.
Archbishop of Colombo, His Eminence Malcolm Cardinal Ranjit, visited the Negombo Hospital to inquire into the condition of the patients being treated for dengue.
I believe that it is important that everyone makes it their duty and responsibility to destroy all dengue breeding areas, which is the root cause of the dengue epidemic. It is a social responsibility to keep your gardens and surroundings clean.
The 7th edition of the Top 50 Professional and Career Women Awards 2017 was held in Colombo yesterday in partnership with the IFC, a member of the World Bank Group. Group Director of the Capital Maharaja Organization Limited, Nidra Veerasinghe, was among the honorees.
Her 30-year career includes various levels of senior management, holding CEO and general management positions. She's currently on the main...
Nidra Veerasinghe is Group Director Electronic Media Business, heading the country's largest privately owned electronic media network, and she won gold for her work in electronic media. The last 18 years of her career has been dedicated to the electronic media industry. The Maharaja Media Network has changed the media landscape in this country, apart from innovation and introducing some of Sri Lanka's best entertainment programs, going beyond the role of traditional media to empower people. The award ceremony saw the participation of MPs, diplomats and leading businessmen and women.
Dr. Lester James Pearce lecture on saving a national film heritage took place in Colombo. The presentation was made by Indian filmmaker Shavendra Singh Durgarpur.
Whether it's the Sri Lankan film industry or whether it's the Indian film industry or even other neighboring countries like Pakistan, we have always regarded films not as an art form but as a merry form of entertainment. And when we are talking about saving the Sri Lankan heritage today, I don't think so I have an identity of being an Indian in that sense. My identity and passport is films. I carry that everywhere where I go, because we are not talking about just saving the heritage of Sri Lankan films. We are caring about saving the world cinematic heritage. And that is very important for us to understand. The reason I stand before all of you is the very fact that if I am propagating the fact that Sri Lanka should save its heritage, it's because we want to save its part of the larger concept of the world's cinematic heritage.
The event was aimed at initiating a film preservation and restoration program in Sri Lanka. Well-known icons in the Sri Lankan film industry were among those present at the event.
Well, a proud moment for all Sri Lankans as Sri Lanka's Dinesh Priyantha Herath clinched a silver medal in F46 category javelin throw at the World Para-Athletics Championships in England. On that note, we wrap up this edition of Weekend Primetime News. Thank you very much for stopping by. More news follows on our website, www.newsfirst.lk. I'm Zola Otskun. Have yourself a great day ahead.